So hello everyone, and welcome to another one of these Mamy, zielone, pojęcie podcasts by Wrocław University of Environmental and Life Sciences. Today we have very special guests in the studio, researchers who work in food science. They have jointly carried out a number of research projects and seem to be particularly good at collaborating with researchers from around the world. They both work for the Department of Functional Food Products Development at Wrocław University of Environmental and Life Sciences. Professor Małgorzata Korzeniowska is here with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And since 2021, she has served as the head of the Department of Functional Food Products Development at this university. Her scientific interests focus on oxidation of meat ingredients, for example, lipids and proteins, natural antioxidants in animal muscle tissues, and application of byproducts in the food industry to create innovative meat products. She's a member of leading research groups Drop Power and Plant for Food. She was involved in numerous international projects, serving either as the principal investigator or as a member of the research team. Notable examples include the Horizon 2020 funded Pro Waste project and the Horizon Europe funded Seasoned. She also contributed to the Fair Blend, Alforn and Opus projects. She has strong cooperation with the food industry in areas such as meat and egg processing, product quality evaluations, and food industry side stream valorization. Is that correct?
Yeah, more or less, it covers everything.
Excellent. So one more time, welcome, Małgorzata, to today's podcast. My other guest is Professor Dušan Mišić.
Hello.
A very good morning to you.
Thank you.
And Professor Dušan Mišić started his university career at the Department for Microbiology at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Belgrade, where he progressed from research assistant, which happened in 1999, to full professor in 2020 in the scientific field of clinical microbiology. He received his master's degree and doctorate in the field of resistance of clinically important zoonotic and foodborne bacteria to antibiotics. From 2009 to 2019, he was the head of the Laboratory for Clinical Bacteriology and Mycology at the University of Belgrade. And then he came to Wrocław University of Environmental and Life Sciences in 2020, first as a visiting professor, and then in January 2022, he fully moved to the position of university professor at the Małgorza's department at the Department of Functional Food Products Development. He's currently leading the NCN-funded 4-year project on the physiological and molecular response of foodborne pathogens to the presence of some natural bioactive molecules with strong antibacterial action. I hope that's right. His current area of research is the antibacterial action of natural non-antibiotic molecules, biofilms, microbiological testing of polymer materials for food packaging impregnated with antibacterial molecules, and to a lesser extent, the investigations of the antimicrobial action of biocides. He's fully experienced in all classical and molecular methods in clinical microbiology. Is that correct?
Bravo.
Excellent. Oh, that was a lot of long words. And hopefully this will make for a very interesting program, because today we are going to focus on food safety, and we'll look into the past and the future, going through the present as well. So some horrible facts to begin with. An estimated 600 million people, which is almost 1 in 10 worldwide, get sick, and 420,000 die from consuming contaminated food or water each year. That's quite scary, I would say. Why do you think this is still happening, and what are some basic things we all can do at home to protect ourselves from food poisoning? Who would like to take that first? Dušan?
Maybe the head of the department.
Okay, I can start. So basically, the food consumption is a basic thing. Yeah, so everyone has to eat daily, at least, once, but regularly. As a dietitian recommended us, is like 3 times a day, small portions. So we have to really care what we consume. And the way how the food is produced, this is the one thing. And the second thing is the way how we handle the food at our home. So there will be possible scenarios for the food contamination on the production side, but also at home, and many of the things happening at home. So we have to really take care.
So what can we do, Małgosia?
Yeah.
Can you give us some basic tips?
Yeah, the basic tips is to, when you buy the food, like in a raw state, let's say vegetables, fruits, you always have to wash them before consumption. Okay, and because you never know where they were picked up, where they grow, how many people were handled them until they reached our home. So we always have to wash the raw materials very carefully. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about maybe how we should store our food?
Yeah, of course. There are recommendations. So everyone has to know where to store the food. The food products, they have to be stored in the refrigerated temperature. So it means in our refrigerators or the chilling chambers, if someone has something like this at home. There are foods that has to be stored in room temperature. So at this time, the food has to be stored in the proper conditions, like without access to the excessive humidity, and also without access of the pests and insects. And of course, they have to be protected from the light in some cases, because many things can happen during the storage, like the chemical reactions and also microbiological activity can happen during the storage. And one of the most important thing when we want to prepare the food at home is to heat the food until there's a certain temperature. Okay, nobody is, taking the thermometer and checking all the time, because this will be kind of odd. But if it's recommended to boil the food, just
do
boil,
it.
Just do it. Don't be too fast. Don't be impatient. Because if you don't prepare your food properly, that can be possibly the way of contamination and also poisoning.
Exactly. I think undercooked food, as far as I know, that's like one of the major problems that cause food poisoning, in humans, and also this bacterial. Can I say if it's caused by bacteria, is it also an infection?
Yes.
Okay, right. So bacterial infections, yes. I guess everyone's heard of that magic word Salmonella. Everyone is a little worried about that. But where can we actually find Salmonella? I mean, which products are, let's say, the ones that maybe are easier for Salmonella to survive on? Could you give us some tips on that?
Yes, okay, thank you. Małgosia already told everything.
No.
I would just add that this is truly a complicated, this is the global estimation. It is a complicated question depending on economical status of the states, development of the countries, and climate changes, and plenty of different political, economical, geographical, cultural,
traditions,
and other components influencing where in the world is a bigger estimation of food poisoning or something. Anyway, we are drowned in the world of microorganisms. This is the world of microorganisms. They are everywhere, and in animals, and on fruits, and on vegetables. So they're always there. So there is always a risk. This is something that this is okay. Then step by step, education of the consumers and etc. The industry. We will talk probably about everything. So Salmonella, you asked me about Salmonella. I wouldn't just say Salmonella. There are plenty of microorganisms which are truly dangerous for the human health and for animal health, which are present in plenty of forms of the food. So Salmonella practically can be everywhere. The point is that this is a fecal oral route. In microbiology and epidemiology, it is the specific route called fecal oral route. When some animal or human with salmonellosis excreting through feces salmonella. So fecal contamination can practically take place everywhere, practically in all kinds of food. There is not just eggs, typically.
Like most people, I think your mom would always warn you, yes, don't eat raw eggs.
Yeah.
The egg always has to be at least soft-boiled, yes, to be...
If I can say with eggs, because it is estimated, it was found actually at the beginning of the 80s last century, that 1 in 13,000 eggs is for sure contaminated with salmonella inside in the yolk.
Right.
So before that, it was a truly traditional way of eating the vitamins. When I was a small kid, and when my mother would take me to the pediatrician, the pediatrician would say, "Mother, every day mixed yolk with the sugar." This
is what we call in Polish kogiel-mogiel.
This was the source of the vitamins, and I remember that I grew up with
eating that.
Yes, this was.
And how often did you have it as a kid? Would you say once a week?
No, it was every day.
Oh, seriously?
Every
wow.
day. And for sure, when I would like to eat something sweet and I don't have anything at home, I would mix egg. So I remember when we were kids, we would put a little bit of coffee. So it's a chocolate cream. And then, But then World Health Organization stopped.
Okay.
It is forbidden because 1 in 30,000 egg yolks can be contaminated with salmonella, but practically epidemics with salmonella has been recorded via every type of food: chocolate, chips, peppers, tomato, I don't know what else, meat, of course.
Maybe. How about things like, everyone now is telling us you should eat a lot of nuts because they're like a source of, magnesium, I don't know, all these microelements that are often missing from our diets. Yeah. So that's kind of scary, really. But I hope you can maybe explain a little bit more about what we can do to prevent that in a minute. Yeah. But now that you've mentioned that historical aspect, I wanted to sort of share with everyone a fact that I found staggering. Apparently, back in the day when they started producing Coca-Cola first, it was actually that they used real cocaine to make it. So that's like an example of something that now we know is completely harmful to humans. And yet, I don't know, back in the 1920s of the last century, that was fine. So could you both think about maybe a moment in time when some kind of regulators, being governments, being maybe, I don't know, some international organizations, when did they start truly considering food safety and maybe started giving some kind of recommendations to consumers and also to governments for introduction?
So food safety was always some kind of the concern, but as we all probably know that in the past the concern was not so serious, and the people didn't put too much attention because living in the country in which the food chain and food delivery was limited. So you first think about your basic needs. So you think about buying the food and providing the food to your family, and of course you care about safety, but it's not the priority. Okay, first is to eat, and then when you have the abundance of the food, you can start thinking about how to provide a good quality and safe food. So always food has to be safe. This is the priority right now. So, sometimes in the past, when we saw the advertisement like on TV or on radio, and the producers or the advertiser, they were telling us that the food is safe. Of course, this is the basic requirements. So in the past, it's like. Everything started in even in the ancient times, yeah. But then when NASA started their programs, like reaching the moment that they will send people to the space, they introduced some very restricted rules for the production of the safe food, of the safe products that people can take with them to the space. So, and they introduced this hazard analysis and critical control points program. And it was very restricted. So, and then everything started from the microbiological point, because this was one of the most frequent and important thing. And then some other aspects were also introduced to the food production area. So the HACCP, and then followed by different good manufacturer and good hygienic practice. So these are like strict recommendation for the food industry to be followed to produce the food which is really safe. And then, like in Poland, we started thinking more about the food safety regulations and rules when we joined the EU. So it was 2004.
Yes, we're just celebrating, the 20 years.
It was just a
20-year anniversary.
So for the people who were living before 2004, it's something really amazing that we did this huge step forward to secure the food and to secure the safe food. So like right now, the 100% of the food which is produced has to be safe. But, the rules are rules, but the people are people. So we presume that the food is safe. Yeah, and we believe our producer that the food is safe. So in Poland, we can say that this huge rumor started in 2004 with some regulations made by the European Union, but also made by our government and our officials to push the food industry to adjust their facilities to the requirements which are already being implemented in the European Union the way before, so years before. And then we got plenty of money from the European Union for adjustment of our industry. So that's why, for example, when you visit the industry, the food industry in Poland right now, our facilities are really, really good. The high quality and all the rules are obeyed. And of course, it took a lot of time. Yeah, but right now we have all this good practices, the hazard analysis and critical control points.
You're right, HACCP.
It is always
it's a tricky one because it's very long.
But generally, it's very important. It's obligatory to, especially for the big producers to have this system. And also there are plenty of like this working legal acts to obey.
And are there different acts maybe for, let's say, meat-based foods and plant-based foods? Do they sort of see any difference between those two?
Generally, the rules are the same because the food is the food, no matter from where it comes. And of course, when it comes to the details, there are some regulations and law specifically address the specific industry.
Okay. Dušan, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, from a microbiological point, yes, this is because you asked when actually it started in the history.
Yeah.
Usually when some disasters occur, then this is the triggering
like the
point.
turning point.
Yes, when food, not just food industry, medicine, whatever, politics, they say, okay, what happened now and what we have to do to prevent this. So NASA actually, when, this is the catastrophic that in zero gravity somebody gets diarrhea or vomiting. So this is the catastrophe. So they say it must not happen up there. And it was a really serious program. And this is, I would just say, the program of the responsibility that it must be known who is responsible for what. Everyone is responsible in the chain. The state, the country, the politics, they are responsible to put the regulations, inspection, to provide that the regulations are being implemented. And every food producer is responsible. They have to have those critical points in their own industry and to control them. So this is the responsibility. So the critical point, let's say from the kind of microbiology, is the food producer has the workers. How he provides that every worker is healthy, that some worker is not going to come with salmonellosis at work and contaminate the food. So
right. So it's both ways. It's not only about delivering a very safe food to us, but also about caring, let's say, providing the healthy environment for the staff, so that when they handle our food, they don't cause contamination into the product they're working with.
This is just one point. This is they say from field to fork. This is the whole
chain,
road, long and winding road, like the Beatles were singing, yes, to the table, to us, with a lot of critical points that contamination with microorganisms or toxin can happen. So who is responsible from the beginning to the end to take responsibility that the food is safe? Because
they often, I think they often recall products, yes? I from time to time I read either online or in newspapers that, a whole range, let's say some canned fruit or something, had to be taken out of the shops. So I guess it means that the systems work, that someone has tested. Let's not go maybe into details how it gets done, but there was a report saying that maybe it was questionable safety of whatever type product, and then I think such a producer, I guess as a must, they've got to take this out of the market and just so that they don't cause another outbreak or something like that. In your experience, does it often happen that producers have to withdraw a product from the market?
It's a tricky question,
Sorry.
because we don't work at the industry, but we have the contact with them. So they will say no, for sure, because this is not the political answer. Yeah,
Of course, they're perfect.
Yeah, they are perfect, and they do everything. Actually, they really do everything to provide a safe food. But sometimes the things happen. The things happen, and you don't have like the force to avoid them. And if you ask me, what is the main source of contamination? Is the workers, okay, the people. So this is the main thing, because we can control temperature, we can control the humidity, we can control some kind of contamination. And in the production, there is always, and it's settled from the beginning, the parameters that have to be controlled. And they are. But of course, they are controlled like on the random samples, because it's impossible to control every single package. Especially when it comes to the chemistry or microbiology. So sometimes thing happens. So this is one thing that the producers can control some aspects, and they try to avoid or even prevent the bad series of the products to be sent to the market, to the consumers. But if something like this happens, and of course it happens, so they are just taking them out from the markets, and they have to take care of the disposal.
Oh yes, that's another thing, because if they... That is, maybe we will talk about this a little bit later in the program, that not only food safety alone is some kind of bubble, that, it's all connected now with the environmental responsibility and also with the global world and this food traveling from around the world, basically. Then also consumers, I think, are more and more they know, or at least they try to find out where my food comes from. So we'll just touch on that in a minute. Would you say that like you said, we've come a long way. There has been help from the European Union. So here in Poland, we should feel fairly confident that the food producers do everything they can to provide safe food to us. But still things happen, yes, and it often happens because maybe something was introduced into food products before. So let's say aspartame. A lot of people, of course, they want to be slim, but they might have this sweet tooth. So once this was created, that new sugar that doesn't make me fat, or it's supposed to be more healthy than the sugar that's all bad, yes. This, of course, was introduced into many food products. But now I think more research comes out that this is maybe not so safe for human health, that possibly, aspartame can cause cancer. And so how do you see the role of researchers in possibly preventing harmful products from entering the market? Do you see that there's a role for researchers to do that?
Yes, of course. It's very important for scientists. Science is very important in all this, but science is not almighty, and this is not an alchemy. Simply, science helps, and science, this is through publications and communication, is delivering the results which are providing some info, what is safe, what is not safe, and etc. But still, it needs time. That means sometimes some products are not visibly dangerous. There is a lot of years, decades to come with one, second, third side effect that somebody should start thinking maybe this product is not so safe as we thought, because this is the time connected, maybe, I don't know how to say, influence on the organism. So science is doing the best what it can, but it's not the only. I said it's not almighty thing, and providing information is important. There is also a lot of other things. What is market wants?
I was going to say this business aspect. Yes, that is sometimes maybe the producer compromises. They might have information from scientists that possibly this isn't 100% safe, but then when they see this immediate, figures, sales, and so on, perhaps it's their call in the end, yes, to bring something into the market. I agree with you.
There is one thing that we as researchers, we always want to make some step forward to develop and to. As from my field, we're trying to make the food better. I wouldn't say safer, because it's already safe from the definition, but better quality, better taste, better appearance. And sometimes, we recommend something that is really good, but then when it comes to the industry and the real implementation, so it can cause some problems because of the upscaling, because of economical aspects. Because sometimes we can find a really nice molecule which can help For example, can prevent from some kind of distortion in the body, or it can prevent, or it can improve even our mood. Yeah, we have right now this mood food, but then we don't know how it works in the long-lasting perspective. So this is the one, and then always in the world there is money behind. So the business never does anything for granted. Yeah, they produce something and they introduce the innovations to making more money. Yeah,
true.
So this is always the thing. Like, I have plenty of examples, but I don't want to take too much time. But let's say the best example maybe is not from the food area, but look what like the Alfred or Albert, I don't know, the Nobel, he invented the dynamite, and it was his super invention. So, and he did it to make people's life better, but the final
product,
the product is still okay, but the final use of the product could be very good and could be very bad. So it's the same with the new things which we want to implement in the food industry.
Okay, yes, I agree.
You mentioned aspartame. Of course, it's already known fact that aspartame is a chemical component, and it was produced like more on the artificial way. But right now, it's a huge discussion about xylitol.
That was supposed to be another saver from too much sugar,
and the recommendation was that you can use the xylitol everywhere and without the limits. But right now, there are already the voices that xylitol can also be dangerous,
harmful to people, to people's health.
I will just add that in science you have a phenomenon that proving something that, let's say, I prove that this is bad, another scientist proves that this is good. So you always have, this is normal thing in science. For the one thing, you have always opposite opinions, scientific facts, opposite. I claim this is white, but another scientist claim no, this is black. So for aspartame and for xylitol and for everything else. But the point is for the food industry, because this question about some things happens. The point is that regulations are so strict that food industry doesn't want, because of salmonellosis, let's say, some industries declared bankruptcy. They were totally closed, negative marketing. They have to implement strict and very much expensive measures to eradicate, to eliminate salmonella, to eliminate the source, what is happening. Then they are closed for plenty of time and they declare bankruptcy. No one wants that. So this is why industry is taking care to prevent that some bad things happen, because regulations are strict.
Okay, so in a way we can possibly trust the regulations more maybe than the actual companies that are behind the products. Is that what you're saying? The regulations are created in such a way that we should feel okay, that human health is kind of at the front of the people behind the regulation, but then it's up to the business what they do with them.
Basically, the industry obey the rules, because for them it's to be or not to be. If they don't obey the rules and they sell the not safe products or the bad quality products, so they will not have the consumers anymore, and this is the single and the straight way to the bankruptcy. So they have to
obey by those regulations.
And if they are smart and they want to do the business, so they have to.
This is also some kind of evolution, let's say. In the history, some research were conducted in a short time, let's say a year of the research or 2 years, and okay, this product is safe. But then during the time of consuming the actual product after 5 years or 10 years, there is some side effect, yes, some consequence. So today, some important regulations are that research for some components, chemical components being added, like a food additive or, let's say, any medication, something, they have to be truly long. They have to cover enough of the time and most of the facts collected that it is the safe. When it is declared that this is safe, that it is the end, that we don't find after 10 or 12, 20 years again some new surprise that it is not.
Good one. So that
So this is now why this is expensive. So it is more and more expensive. There is a consequence that economically it needs a lot and more
investment.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So what about this xylitol? Shall I use it? I think my mom likes it. Now you got me really worried.
Everything is like. According to my my motto, it's the motto of my life. That's like that. This is the Paracelsus saying and statement that everything can be can be poison, and nothing can be poison. It only depends on the dosage.
I see. Okay. So all in moderation, possibly I'm on the safe side.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Actually, xylitol, if I can say.
Sure.
Because it is a sugar. It's a sugar with 0 calories. But you cannot say, you cannot use it too much because it is causing defecation. So it is, there is a limitation. Yes, it's a laxative.
Okay. Well, don't want to think about that now, but yes.
Your body will regulate.
Yes.
I think it's always in the cake somewhere. I see. So I know when I've done too much, when I used too much, I will feel it. Okay, right. Now, Dušan, your most research project is focused not so much on the actual product design of, food product design, but on the packaging. Can you explain what active packaging is and how is it a novelty?
Well, yes, my project not only antimicrobial molecules, but also impregnation of those antimicrobial molecules in experimental food packaging but this is interdisciplinary study. I have to say that this is in cooperation with Politehnica Wrocławska and with the University of Santiago de Chile, Professor Adrian Royas.
I should have said that, but you remember I said that at the very beginning that you two are very good at international cooperation. And I have to say that when somebody came to our office and mentioned that Dušan is working with Santiago, Chile, I was thinking, wow, that's true globalization. I think, I don't know, but I don't think we've had many projects with, institutions from South America. So that is really quite a unique collaboration there, I would say.
Yes, because we are not doing the design of the packaging materials. We are working in antimicrobial activity of the possible and already designed experimental material. So active packaging is the
Yes, how active? What does it do?
Scientifical trying that this packaging is not just for packing the food, but it has also some additional action, additional effect. Let's say in the food packaging, there is some antimicrobial molecule, natural, which is approved from the food industry, impregnated, so it is delivered into the food, preventing of eventually present microorganisms to multiply or killing them, prolonging the shelf life, giving the better taste. So this is active packaging. This is the package that has additional purpose.
And can I, let's say maybe if I could get my hands on one of those? Impossible, but let's just speculate. What could I put in? In this way, could I pack vegetables, meat, dairy products? Is it even important to think what type of food product I could use with active packaging, or is it universal? Is it designed to kind of work with all kinds of food products?
Universal things, and it is far away from commercialization because this is still experimental. This is that we work with biodegradable materials which are approved for the food industry. No synthetics, no bad things for the food industry. So this is experimental field. A lot of research are being done on this, conducted, how to design the packaging of different biodegradable materials, what to impregnate, how it works. Sometimes it doesn't have any activity against bacteria. Sometimes it changes organoleptic attributes of the food. So a lot of research is in the front of us.
So we are far away from actually giving it to some maybe guinea pigs like me to try and experiment with that at home.
No.
Okay. Now, but my understanding of this project, if you all remember, that there was a really quite nice article, and I think the lady who wrote it, she gave us a good idea of how you work every day with this project. And my understanding is that you actually were successful in determining like the winning formula against two of the most vicious pathogens. So there is a Listeria there and Salmonella, and very specific types of these two. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And well, you already said that you are far away, so I'm not even asking about the industrial scale potential there. But yes, could you tell us a little bit more about what is your secret? What's the formula?
In that particular research, we investigated Salmonella and Listeria, but this is the how can I say, funding is limited, so we published one paper. Now we're doing research on Bacillus cereus. So I wouldn't just stay on Salmonella and Listeria as a food and most vicious. There are a lot of other microorganisms important.
That are even more vicious.
Yes. So a lot of work is in the front of us. Anyway, this is just that you try if this active food packaging is killing. Hypothetically present, if hypothetically Salmonella is going to present in some food that we pack, so we have to provide that impregnated molecules are killing Salmonella and killing Listeria. And now we investigate other microorganisms. So sometimes results are excellent, sometimes results are not so good. Microorganisms are living beings capable to fight for survival.
Right.
Yes, everyone on this planet is fighting for survival.
That's true.
So they have mechanisms to overcome the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if we provide that they cannot attach, they mutate and then they attach. So again, from the beginning, the redesign of the material, putting another molecules inside, trying another level of investigation. And this is always, science. More questions than answers. We try to find an answer to this, and then we just have 10 another questions.
Okay, so I was thinking that, 2 years down the line, we will have a ready
for sure.
product.
Nobel Prize, yes.
No, I don't know about Nobel Prize, but...
we are sharing this.
No, Kasia, you mentioned this. You are close to the industry. You've worked with them. And do you think they may be interested in trying Dušan's version of active packaging? And if so, what makes it unique, in your opinion, and maybe worth investing in?
For sure, industry is always interested in the new solutions, in the innovations. And if the innovation is promising, like this one, so having the packaging which prevent the spoilage of the food and guarantee the safeness of the product. So the industry for sure will be interested in trying and also implementing the solution, because this solution will make their product and their being on the market secure. So in this way, for sure. But there are many questions, of course, because all the new solutions, they have to be tested. They have to be allowed by the law.
I was going to say, where are you with any kind of with the restrictions? Are you? You said that this packaging it's biodegradable, so it's kind of safe from that point of view. It's environmentally friendly. But are there some things that if you wanted to introduce this to the market, would you have to? I don't know. Sort of, would there be new regulations introduced?
I don't think there will be the new regulations. we cannot use any like molecules which are not allowed to be in contact with the food. But the products Dušan works on, they are all allowed. They are.
Yes. We always take care that this is something which is approved for the food industry. There is no sense that we are
so they're going outside,
something that is proved that it is not allowed.
So in that case, there shouldn't be a big problem. The problem can be connected with the cost of the material, but this is another step, after certain moment in the research. So when we prove that the packaging is really working.
So really active.
So then we'll possibly can try to reduce the cost. So because actually when we produce the food, so one of the biggest costs in the food production is the packaging. So in that case, so another piece of the research should be required to lower the cost. And then, of course, the adjustment to the certain products, because you asked before if the packaging can be unique. It cannot, because all the products has their own properties and their own requirements for the packaging materials. Okay.
So formulas have to, again, you've got to, when you design them, you've got to take this into consideration. Okay.
Exactly. The easiest example is like, paper. So we can pack some food products in a paper package, like carton boxes. But when it comes to something which is really humid or something liquid, we cannot. Yeah. So all the products has its own characteristics.
Okay.
But for sure, we have to be optimistic, and for sure the industry will be interested when we go to them with the ready solution.
And would you say that it needs maybe, another project?
For sure.
Where you might have, an industrial partner?
Yeah, that's the best way to start with the basic science to prove something, and then jump to the industrial projects with the close cooperation with the specific industry. And actually try to fit also into their needs, because they have their own needs and problems. So in that case, for sure, the industrial project will be very, very well recommended.
I know you will probably not tell me any approximate dates, and I realize that, but how far are we? What, about 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, roughly? Any idea?
Well, I would just like to say something, because you said Dušan's packaging. I would like to say
that it's not Dušan's
this is the interdisciplinary team. So Adrian Rojas is a professor in chemistry in Chile. He's designing the package in agreement. Of course, we agree what is good natural molecule to be impregnated. We are in talks. But then I provide microbiological investigation. How it kills microorganisms? Does it kill them? What microorganisms survive? So I provide this. So to say,
okay, I know it's joined,
and it's joined, and we are for sure we bite that it is as soon as possible, because this is our success, scientific success, possible commercialization. Can I say, Gosha, that science is usually in every part of the world, science is underpaid.
Yes.
You remember when there was a corona and when they were hysterically asking when there will be a vaccine. So scientists, I remember it was a woman, I think from Great Britain, she said, ask Ronaldo, because he's paid, I don't know how many millions of dollars, and we are paid 1,000 euros only. So this is today's world. This is the sign of the time. So we are biting. We want commercialization. This is our interest and personal success. And for the university, it's our success. But it doesn't go that way. It needs a lot of new research. This is not that this is only our research. Plenty of other guys are researching. I was going to say,
you plenty of other guys, but also you have that really international collaboration. So, I guess that man is so far away in Santiago, Chile, that could also be, I don't know, maybe these two countries, different, I don't know, intellectual property laws and stuff like that. So I think it may be quite complicated. But I really keep my fingers that you will be the first.
Me too.
Yeah, because that sounds like, I think it will help maybe with this consumer trust for sure, in terms of food products. Now, also, I would say, I think I mentioned that before, and especially now with European Union having all these strategies where everything comes into play, environmental safety or environmental impacts that we want to minimize, and the fact that consumers want to know where their food actually comes from. So, how would you say this food safety aspect can be kind of interplaying with all these other concerns? And also, there are these emerging technologies, such as, for example, cellular agriculture. There may be, I don't know, maybe this method of creating food can open another box of problems with safety. So, I mean, what do you think? What is the kind of the way forward with food safety? I mean, we are at, I think, quite a good place, as you said, Gosia, that these regulations are, good in the sense that they really put the human consumer, let's say, at the center of it. And the companies have no choice, but they've got to be listening and abiding by these regulations. But then we've got all these other things now that also people want and expect from food producers. So what do you think? How can we balance all this?
Can you open?
Yeah, it's a another difficult question because safety first, and safety has to be first, and the consumer has to be in the center. So of course the industry has to adjust to the regulations, and the regulations are set by the people and the governments or the authorities, and they are pushed from the bottom, from the consumers. So this is like a circle. So for sure, there will be a strong push towards this cellular agriculture, like cultured meat or cultured plants.
Can you just explain for those people who may not be so into these modern production methods? So, in the kind of, in a nutshell, what is cellular agriculture?
So this is something like the production of some kind of the materials like meat or plants from the single cell. Okay, so not from the seeds or not from the like germs. In vitro, yeah, this is kind of in vitro. Yeah, so we are collecting the cells and then we are growing the cells in the laboratory conditions, or which is already happening on the industrial scale, like the production of we say laboratory meat or cultured meat. So there is no animals. There's only the cell, the single cell, and then from the cell.
And that single cell, it does come from a real animal, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Okay.
This is the truth.
So the beginning is the animal.
The beginning is the animal, yeah, but still we don't need the animals to produce the muscle tissue. So because this is the muscle tissue, this is not the animal. And then the question is what to do next. If we only want to sell this like cultured meat as it is, or we want to process it further, because when we cultured the meat, so we make it in the specific equipment, which is basically closed. So with the like the circulating media, so there is no really chance of the contamination unless something happened. Yeah, because it can always be. So in that case, the safety of the products is secure. Yeah, but it always requires the new regulations, and it always requires the new attitude to those kind of products and also to life. And it's also like right now is the huge discussion about the insects and larvae. So again, this is something which we are very optimistic and we favor those kind of foods, but we don't know what will happen in the future, because it still requires a lot of especially clinical studies.
And coming back to that cultured meat, is this only laboratory scale,
No.
or do some people actually offer it on the market?
Yeah, it's
producers.
It's already on the market. It's already on the market, and I think the biggest players are, of course, in Israel, because they started this technology, and in the States and Japan, and also we have the one factory in Poland, and the factory is producing already this cultured meat. So even on the big scale, so we can even buy it in some kind of the shops, and like burgers, because burgers are the most typical one because of the structure of the meat.
So the actual application is done for burgers.
Yeah. So right now, because when they started, the cost was immense.
I was going to say it must be, but is it? Would you say is it more expensive than the traditionally offered meat?
Yeah, it's still more expensive. Yeah, it's like for the burgers, I found this information was something like 14, no, even more, around $20 to $25 per burger.
So like
right now,
not by kilo, but by I don't know how much.
No, it's like a burger, so it could be 50 grams, 60 grams,
exactly.
Not more.
Like just that one portion,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so still the traditional meat, it's cheaper.
Okay, and as far as you know, that they're doing all right with the safety of this cultured meat.
Until now, yes, there was no concern.
Right. Okay. And another thing that came to my mind when I was preparing for this talk and this conversation with you guys is the use of antibiotics. Because I mean, again, I would say the general public, they instinctively know that there's something wrong, and they would always tell you, you know, especially to those people who are even maybe considering going vegetarian, that would be the argument. Oh yes, very good idea, because there is so many antibiotics in meat that this way, you know, by changing your diet, you kind of maybe helping yourself, you know, stay healthy, whatever. And so I wanted to ask you exactly what is that connection? Why should I be afraid of antibiotics, you know, being used for, you know, by farmers, yes, who breed animals?
You don't have to be afraid. This is really something that historically is okay. The attitude has been changed several times. At the beginning, antibiotics were used as growth promoters for the animals, because it was noticed that when you give a small portion of antibiotics to the pig or to the calf, then it's faster.
It grows faster.
It grows faster with less consumption of food. So it's economically very
yes.
good. But then they noticed that the multi-resistant bacteria out of those animals are going in the nature and causing infections in humans which are not treatable with those antibiotics
that were given to this pig in the first way.
This is the cross-resistant, and then they cut it. It is interesting for me. It is very interesting historical point that Sweden was the first country in 1985. They said we cut antibiotics as a growth promoters, no more, and that the rest of the Europe and the world judged Sweden. You can find the articles when they said Sweden is, we don't understand them, we will ban import of the meat from Sweden, it will not be safe. Yes, Sweden was the first. Scandinavia is really avant-garde in some
aspects of
aspects of this. So, but later in 2006, European Union said enough. This is truly dangerous thing. The resistance is truly. This is pandemic. This is quiet pandemic. Pan-resistant strains resistant to all affordable antibiotics.
And hold on a second. Let me just stop you there. So if I eat a burger which was made with meat. with meat, which comes from a pig. No, burgers are cow. Sorry, you see, you can tell I'm really vegetarian.
Could be also from pork.
It comes from a cow that was treated with certain antibiotics as a growth promoter, and then I catch something.
Yeah.
And they can't find antibiotic to treat me. That's basically how it works.
This is strictly food regulation. There are no antibiotic residues in the food. There must not be any. So this is controlled all the time. The point is that this is called carenza. Mm-hmm. This is when you treat the animal with antibiotics, because animals are living beings. They are getting sick.
Of course,
they have corona.
And I'm sure, is that allowed? I'm sure it must be. When animals actually are sick, then I think it's okay, right?
We have to separate two things. The thing what Dušan said about the growth promoting or growth promoters, they are not allowed to be used in the animal production in the European Union anymore.
Right.
The people cannot use them. They are banned. But if the animals are sick or having some symptoms of the disease, so you have to remember that most of our animals are kept in the big flocks. Mm-hmm. Or big herds, yeah. So there is no single animal. If you have a single animal, you can treat it and that's it. Or you can still wait what is happening, and see what is happening. But when you have like hundreds of animals in one place and the place is closed,
so it spreads quickly. So I guess you need to treat them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if there is any incidence of the disease or infection or anything, so the antibiotics can be used. But there are strict rules for the currency. So when you treat the animals on the exact date and time, you have to record it, and then you have to keep the animals for at least certain number of days, depending on the antibiotics, depending on the animals, and so there are many factors which are influencing. And you cannot sell the animals for the food production before this currency period
has elapsed.
Yes.
Okay.
Not even using eggs, using milk, nothing.
Yeah.
No products.
Yes. And for example, from the other side, when we think about the technology, so maybe not meat, because meat is, in that case, is not that sensitive. But when you use milk and the milk has the residues of the antibiotics, you cannot use it for the cheese production. Because the cheese will be it
won't meet probably the regulations.
Produced. No, it will not.
It will just not happen.
Produced because the technology is set, and there are the specific things which has to be done during the processing. And when you have the antibiotics, or for example, yogurt or kefir, you use the lactic acid bacteria. There are more, but these are the basic ones. And if the antibiotics are in the products, they will not grow because the antibiotics will
kill the bacteria.
Maybe not kill, but they will stop them of producing the lactic acid. And the product will not be produced.
Okay, so I feel a little reassured that maybe, especially if people play by the book, then so why do you think that this has been such an issue, that people, consumers, sort of, really consider, or they would judge the entire industry that it's bad because
they entire use industry, but still this is the regulation of the European Union. But United States of America, they still use antibiotics as a growth promoter. This is their politics. Asia, Japan. Some developed countries are still having the policy of using antibiotics as a growth promoter. This is something economically, this is economic attribute that...
it's economically motivated, I would say.
No matter the pressure, this is the strong pressure of all the institutions, World Health Organization for animals. They strongly pressure everyone to stop using antibiotics as a growth promoters, but still you have another problem. This is soon there will be 9 billion of people on the earth.
And
everyone is hungry. Everyone wants to eat hamburgers or whatever. So how to produce the food for 9 billion of people? And Małgorzata already said what is the truth. No matter the animal welfare postulates are being respected, these are the huge agglomerations of animals. Consider that here are 5 more people, we would be diseased in 3 days, even shorter. In 10 hours, we would be all diseased. It's impossible. So it is a huge problem. It is a huge problem, but still, let's say it is possible to produce animal without antibiotics as a growth promoters, but still antibiotics are irreplaceable when there is bacterial
when there's
infection.
The actual infection.
Bacterial infection.
Okay, right. And you mentioned that European Union, they said that let's not use that, and the US, China, all these other places, they feel that maybe, they don't want to, make those restrictions on their food producers. Again, maybe something that I would like you to comment on. A lot of people believe that, in fact, food in Europe is safer than in the US. What's your view on that?
All of us, we have food regulations and food safety regulations. I don't know what to say. These are two giants. United States of America is a giant.
And probably not homogeneous either, because they have the state.
When we talk about safety, so in the US, they have the USDA. So
that's the agency. Yes,
this is the Food and Drug Agency. So if they hear something like this, they will say, "Oh, come on, what is going on? Our food is safe." But it always depends on the consumer's needs and the majority of the consumers. And when you look at the population of Americans, there are plenty of poor people, and they have to eat, and they have to be provided with the cheap food. So probably, and for sure, there are some aspects in the food laws that allowed something which is forbidden in Europe. Okay, so that won't be a problem until the moment the European Commission signed the agreement of the free trade. It happened with the chickens, basically poultry, because in Europe, using the chlorine in the poultry production is forbidden. In the United States and Canada is not. So in that case, the moment when a few years ago, European Union signed the agreement of the about the free trade, so now we can buy in our shops the chickens from United States and Canada. From Canada for sure. I'm not sure about the United States, but from Canada for sure. So we have it on the market. No matter the European regulations forbid the use of chlorine.
That is not something that's been highlighted much in the media. I, to be honest, I am surprised. I haven't.
And the same thing with the use of this glucose syrup. On the European market, in the past we didn't have the products with so much of the glucose syrup. On the European market, we mostly had the products with the natural sugars. But right now, look at the labels.
True.
If I can add something also, there is something in the consciousness of the today's consumers. Culture and how can I say, simply consciousness of the consumers changed. People are reading what they eat. They're very interested in health food, superfood, all those terms. You cannot start the day without trying to read the newspapers or look what is new on the internet without new articles. What is superfood? What is fibers, vitamins, minerals for this day, for tomorrow, for yesterday? So people are very interested. Also, some clinics and not just clinics. This is some kind of a direction in a medicine, curing of some diseases with specific diets.
That is definitely a trend.
Yes.
I have to say.
And then there is the difference, simply this is also one kind of a pressure from what we eat. So in Europe, I think that in developed countries of the European Union, people are truly pressuring the law, the politics, because they want to know what they eat, and they want a super good, safe, health food. Cheap, possibly. So regulations are different. Maybe in other continents, people are not so conscious
focused on that. Yes. I think maybe the US for sure, Hollywood, and these states that people, I don't know, are closer to us in the mentality, then they probably do that. But then you have that middle section of America where I guess maybe that you're right, that may not be something they're so interested in, and they may be very traditional people who like the burgers and I don't know, chips.
The truth is that everyone wants to eat the food which is ecological, tasty, safe, produced without violations of animal rights and so on and so on. But then at the end is the economy. And the majority of the human population simply cannot afford that. Because
that is the sad thing.
That is the saddest thing. Yeah? So when you are in European shops, you can see that people can reach different levels of food. There's a cheap food, and there is a middle price food, and there's an expensive food which is also purchased. But when you are in the States or in many countries. Let's focus on the big ones, because sometimes we are like, okay, in the States, everything is so perfect. We want to be like them. But then when you go, maybe not in New York, but when you go on a little bit on the side, and then you see that the majority of the population is really poor, and they simply cannot afford to buy the very high quality food. So the producers, they also have to adjust their businesses, their production to the majority of the consumers' needs. So they have like a series of production of the products for the low income population. And of course, some of them have the very fancy, like a gourmet food. But the main income for the big producers is from the big production, because it's a mass production of the food. So ideally, we really want to provide a very fancy food, high quality, ecological, sustainable. But at the end, we have to also think about the economy, because as Dušan said, 9 billion. You can't imagine. I remember when there was like the person, like the 6 billion person was born. And it was like a huge thing. Right now, nobody even say that this is like 8, 7, 8, 9.
That's true. I think nobody brings it to our attention anymore, that this population is really, really growing. Now, what's interesting, I think, especially for young people in Poland, was that on the 1st of January, the sale of energy drinks was banned, and I don't think European Union motivated our government. I think, as far as I know, it was literally their idea, to ban those young people from buying this product. What was your reaction, if any? I mean, do you think governments should take responsibility like that? That kind of, when they see that something is not good for a specific social group, that they should take responsibility and introduce these kind of very specific bans?
For me, absolutely yes. That's an excellent decision, because I'm a father, and this is an excellent decision to provide the information what is not health and what are the consequences of consuming such food or some product, let's say with the cigarettes and alcohol, you always see the picture of a lung of the person died of the cancer.
That's true.
So the information, what can happen if you smoke. Still, with these energy drinks, this is something that I found the information when you drink one energy drink, that is like 10 coffees. You know, this is a bomb. Somebody can die of a heart attack or something, or high pressure, and etc. So still, for me, it's absolutely okay. This is they prevent. They how can I say? They protect the consumers.
Right. Okay. Gosia?
Yeah, of course. For me, it's an excellent decision. And I remember a few years ago when the government introduced this regulation for the like removing the sugar-containing products from the like the shops based on the schools. And there was a huge discussion. So I suppose this one also caused this kind of the thing because the business wants to sell. But the health of our young population, it has to be the highest priority. So regarding the sugar, salt, and also this like caffeine or taurine level in the products, I totally agree with this. And this is also the way we protect our young generations from having a serious problem in the later stage of their lives. And also, again, I know that I'm kind of boring, but this is also the economical aspects, yeah, because if they have so many problems, like health problems, so we will have to pay more for the like the medical care, providing them the special treatment. If we reduce the chances of incidence of this kind of the problem. So this is also the sociological and also the economical benefit for our whole society.
Excellent. Okay. So just to wrap this up now, what do you think the future holds for food safety? Other than active packaging, which I'm going to wait for that, Dušan, and I will be asking you regularly on the progress.
Super.
What else should we be keeping an eye out for? I guess maybe this cultured meat and what's happening with pricing on that front?
Yeah, this is one of the way. And also, I think we should, maybe it's against my my job, my field, but we should think more about the alternative food production, food processing way, like using the techniques which are not, which doesn't change so much the products. Okay, so the raw materials. So I don't know if it's possible. It is in some range. It is possible. So looking for the new solutions for food processing, looking for more sustainable technologies. This is the thing.
And you, Dušan, in your field, microbiology?
Well, I would like to say this. First, I found one. This is that some economists they prognose that the food is going to be expensive, more expensive 70% up to 2050 because of 9 billion of people and all these things. So food is sensitive thing. Truly, it's something that we can't
live without.
We can't live without. That's actually the thing. I would like to say that there is always going to be a risk because plants and animals are living beings like humans, and we have our microflora. So this is microorganisms are everywhere. So producing the food out of the fruits and the vegetables or from animals is dealing with microorganisms. So no matter the regulations are such to prevent
big problems,
but the risk is always on. You will always have the risk. More people on the planet, more problems. This in vitro food, for me, it is the sign that it is going to be more expensive food. There is also the poverty on the planet.
But that's really scary what you said, 70%
Yes.
by 2050.
Yes.
And I think, we already see it now. I think because of the climate change, this sub-zero temperatures in, when was it, April, I think we already know there will be, I don't know, no cherries, that the wine producer will be struggling, no olive oil, exactly. I mean, how can I live without that? I don't know, I can't imagine.
The prices are being up.
But so far, I think maybe we experience, I don't know, 10, 15%, maybe 20% hikes, but 70.
They prognose it because of all the problems, climate changes and, I don't know, droughts and extreme weather conditions destroying the I don't know, plants and something. But this is the planet is overcrowded. This is for sure the main reason, because you have to provide, people are eating. People usually don't think where all these food products come from. All these sausages, salami, burgers.
As Gosia said, I think that our, European consumer, they are more and more conscious. I think they want to ask those questions.
But this is truly a big invention, new objects, bigger objects, more animals, stricter rules means more expensive technologies to prevent the risk. So that means more expensive food.
All right. Well,
let's finish with something more optimistic.
Can we finish on an optimistic
note?
More
optimistic. What can I say? I don't know.
I think what you said, that if you, especially scientists and food technologists, that's kind of your job to truly maybe think of how these processes can be improved so that maybe, I don't know, the end product is more nutritious, I don't know, that you don't lose the vitamins, the elements, the things that make, a human body healthier.
Yeah, we always have to keep in mind, this is mine, the biggest scare, that food, it's not only consumed for providing the nutrition, nutrients. We have to have some pleasure from consuming it. So there is a possibility to produce a super pill, with all the nutrients which are there. But then, will you have the pleasure from consuming it? Instead of eating some nice salad, even with the insects or something like this, you will get just one pill or two pills with different colors. Okay, it's still nice, But there's still imagine the world in which you eat the pills only.
I always found that very scary. This is sci-fi writers' world, which I'm not buying into.
So when coming back to the NASA things and their solutions, for example, like freeze drying technology was actually invented by the NASA researchers, and this is really nice. And now it's everywhere. You can apply the freeze drying technology. But then when you are in the space and you are getting only a dry things, like a small piece of something which represents, I don't know, apple, banana, or burger in the nice shape, but still is something small, and you don't have this nice feeling and the pleasure feelings which comes from consuming the food. Imagine what will happen with our psychology and our
endocrinology because of all this hormone of the happiness.
Okay, so let's not go there. Let's not imagine the world with pills. But do you think, again, with you, scientists, researchers, could we try? I mean, I'm sure you're doing your best, but do you think an effort by everybody that's maybe not so motivated by, I'm now being an idealist, not so motivated by economy, could this help to keep, could this help to feed the planet, basically? And maybe prevent this big hike in food prices 30 years from now?
For me, it's a truly complicated question. Anyway, Małgorzata is truly right with this economy. This is when all these regulations are being written and being established. They have to think on everyone, not just the consumer, the producer, animal rights, all this thing. Food is truly a sensitive thing. Anyway, this is something truly up to consumers. Everyone wants to see biggest and purest and the most beautiful tomato or paprika without any something. Yeah. So this is the market is demanding. So they have to provide specifically. So this is more expensive because you have to provide biggest and the purest and the reddest paprika, instead of some natural product with some black dots or something. Something is in people, which is, can I say, spoiled?
Yes.
This is something.
A good word.
Maybe it's not okay. We are in the front of, but. Humans are spoiled. I mean, in developed countries, wanting the best, and
so
on the other side, we have this.
I guess we've got to agree with Tony Blair, who once said, "Education, education, education,
education, and prevention, the hygiene, hygiene, and hygiene." And I always say to my students, and we can finish this because Małgorzata said this at the beginning. You just wash your hands, not to. This is what science said. Science doesn't have some particular something truly big, and no, they say please wash your hands against the resistance, against the corona, against the food poisoning. Wash your vegetables,
exactly, wash your worktops,
cook properly, hygiene, and no risk.
Common sense, possibly.
Exactly, education and the basic education, because sometimes we all forget about the basic things, and the world is made out of the basic things. Sometimes we think about very sophisticated solutions. We are trying to look for some, innovations, but we are forgetting about the basic rules. Yeah.
So on that note, Małgosia, Dušan, thank you very much for being my guest here today. And I'm really glad that we managed to do that, because this is, I think, the end of this season of our podcasts. So I don't know when we will be here next. But for now, thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.